Through this sylvan glade, there once ran a railway. Crossing red brick bridges, cutting through woodland, and calling at ornately fashioned stations. It is all but gone today, lost to both nature and time. Let us go then, together, to seek out its route and to locate its relics, to take in views from the past, and to journey where trains once ran, and where rails once lay. Located southwest of the Anglian port of Ipswich, the line in question ran for 7.5 miles between the Suffolk village of Bentley and the town of Hadleigh. Hadleigh was renowned for its wool and cloth making. It was these industries that partly gave rise to the railway itself, so that this valuable product could be distributed with greater ease nationwide. Ultimately closing in 1965, traces of this rural line are still to be found several decades hence. Our journey begins at Bentley on the Great Eastern Main Line. Here's the station in 1963, as a Class 37 powers through with a London-bound express. From a similar position today, the station closed in 1966 as part of wider economies. Not visible in the previous picture, the bay platform which served the line to Hadleigh. Here with brush type 2 number D5544, which headed the Lockheed add-on rail tour of the 20th of April 1962. This train will be taking us down the branch shortly. Notice too the signal box, which, along with this platform and the surrounding yard, have all been swept away. The aforesaid platform was located on the other side of the fence, where the trees now grow. Trains would then travel north by half a mile before taking the points and diverting in a northwesterly direction towards Hadleigh. We see this moment in action from the same rail tour of April 1962. It is worth spending a few moments examining this junction. The Great Eastern Main Line runs north, and we can see where the Hadleigh branch diverged from the main line due west. Until 1875, this was, in fact, a triangular junction, which allowed services to travel to and from Ipswich directly. After the spur's closure, trains from Ipswich had to reverse at Bentley. In the years since closure, it is little wonder that nature has reclaimed the site of this northward spur, but relics are still to be found. Before long, our first stop occurs at Bentley Church. Opened for 7 years between 1846 and 1853, photographs of the station are difficult to come by, but it was certainly located near this delightful crossing keeper's cottage. And this building remains, secluded in this quiet lane, guarded by the woodland all around. So our journey continues, and the line's rural character becomes ever more pronounced. Camouflaged in the intervening years since it last saw trains, this platelayer's hut becomes ever more consumed by nature. But if you know what you're looking for, then the railway's course is still easily found. And among these naturally framed sylvan scenes, the relics of this railway continue to stand undisturbed. 2 miles after departure from Bentley, we approach the next station. Capel served the village of Capel St Mary. Like a great many similar stations, it was located at a reasonable distance from the village it served, and indeed, 6 years into the line's opening, that village had only 651 residents. It is little wonder that such stations and such routes became financially unsustainable. But what a shame to have lost the delightfully ornate station building where now stands a more conventional structure. Indeed, as we continue west, the rural character is briefly and abruptly lost as the A12 bisects what was once the trackbed. Imagine the ire of motorists today if the level crossing continued to be in place now as it was then. Luckily, 2 miles later, the balm of songbirds and the buzz of insects returns, and we encounter this occupation bridge, standing strong and with a characteristic red brick colour, the signature of this line's architecture. Trains continued west. And here, on Bottlebridge Road, passed beneath a bridge, which has long since been demolished and filled in, with only the ghostly tree-lined traces of the trackbed betraying the railway's westward journey. Thus, 3 miles from Capel, we arrive at Raydon Wood, our penultimate point of calling. We view the station's north side in this photograph. Like other stations along the route, passenger traffic did very little to pay the line's bills, though, like Capel during the Second World War, the station was used a great deal, bringing personnel and supplies to the vast US Air Force base to the south of the station. Today, as viewed from its south side, the station has benefited from partial restoration, and we can see just how ornate and characterful were the buildings on this route. Here's a fine picture of the same from 2008. Time to leave. Between Raydon Wood Station and Hadleigh, the trackbed is now a foot and cycle path. But here's how the same part of the route looked on a spring day in 1962. Few structures were built for this section of the line, but this occupation bridge, which connects the two sides of Raydon Great Wood, remains. We pass over Cates Hill Embankment, close to where the first sod was cut in the railway's construction. What the trees mask here is that in places this embankment is about 40 feet high, and the slopes on either side are quite precipitous. Here we find the bridge on Hook Lane, over which the railway crossed. Indeed, the end of the cycle path is marked by this installation, which alludes to the history of this stretch of land. As does this upright length of rail. And so, beyond the trees, we enter the final station. As mentioned, Hadleigh was an important centre for the wool and clothing industry, and like any reasonably prosperous town of the mid-19th century, it saw the coming of the railway as an opportunity to strengthen its prospects. Seen here after closure, the station is no less attractive than those which populated the route. Equipped with sizable goods sidings serving the giant malt houses, it is no wonder that goods continued to serve the town for 3 decades after the cessation of passenger services. Sadly, the story of the Hadleigh branch line is not unfamiliar. Noble early ambitions gave way to economic realities, and as outgoings increased, incomes faltered. Of course, this focus on the economics loses sight of the great social benefits of these little lines, but this was not a column to be found in the balance sheets. Today, the station building in Hadleigh is a private residence, and a fine architectural legacy of a railway which closed in 1965. I hope you enjoyed this film. Please do like, share, subscribe, comment, and perhaps even consider buying me a coffee. And join me again so that we might continue rediscovering lost railways.